about your content strategy, content creation, I really wanted to talk about some very simple ways to quickly improve your content. So, for those of you that have never met me before, my name is Michelle Knight. I'm a brand strategist. I have been the CEO, founder, brand strategist for my company, Brand Mary, for 8 years now. So I started my company in 2016. I created thousands of pieces of content, so much freaking content. And I've seen a lot of changes when it comes to content strategy, content creation. Obviously, algorithms are changing monthly, weekly, platforms are changing. I've seen things come and go. Who remembers Clubhouse? So like I remember a lot of the things that have happened with content creation and content strategy. But there are some fundamental things that never change. Absolutely never change when it comes to improving your content, increasing engagement, whatever it is that you are ultimately wanting to do. And so I am selfishly creating this video today because I'm hosting a free content challenge next week. This is a 4-day free challenge for anyone on the interwebs that would like to sign up. It's specifically for entrepreneurs, content creators that have to create content, need to show up, need to get in front of their ideal customer, need to create brand awareness, need to get leads, sales, all of those different things. And so if you haven't signed up for that, I'm going to share with you how you can easily sign up for that, but I wanted to kind of give you a taste, right? I wanted to share a little bit about my approach to content creation, some of the things that I prioritize, and then we're obviously going to go really, really in depth next week for this challenge. So real quick, if you haven't signed up and you want to get signed up, if you are watching on Instagram, if you comment challenge, then you will get information in your DMs about how to sign up. You should. If not, we'll figure it out afterwards. I'll send you a personal message. And if you are watching on YouTube, then you can go to brandmary.com/challenge and you can get signed up for that. So again, this is completely free. We're going to be going through your content strategy, mapping out your content strategy and understanding how to improve your content strategy so you're getting seen even when you're not posting daily or on your laptop. That's my whole angle when it comes to marketing. So my approach to marketing and content creation in general is actually a lot different than what you might see on the internet. Many of us are watching short form video. Many of us are, scrolling on TikTok mindlessly at the end of the day. And you might see, a lot of people talking about posting regularly on social media, making 2 to 3 reels a day, all of these different approaches. I truly believe that there's no one right way to market your business. And I've been saying that for years. At the core of a great marketing strategy is content, however, and we need to create that. However, the approach that I like to take with content creation is more longevity. I have been talking about building sustainable businesses since about 2019 is when I kind of started using this lingo, because I wanted to focus on helping entrepreneurs create something that was sustainable for them no matter what their life demanded. So if you homeschool your kiddo like I do and you run a full-time business, you were able to do those two things together. If you travel the world, if you work a full-time job, you were able to build your business, create revenue in a sustainable way. And the way that I love to teach that is through a content strategy that focuses on evergreen content, SEO optimized content specifically. So that's what we're really going to be covering in the challenge next week. So you can get signed up for that. Just comment challenge and I'll send the details your way. But I know you're here for 3 simple ways to improve your content today, a little taste, if you will, on some of the things that I think are incredibly important when it comes to content creation. And I really think if you just make these small 3 tweaks this week alone, you would start to see improvements in your overall content strategy. So let's get into it. Okay. I'm also trying to look at my Instagram and see. I can't see. I lined it up so my camera wasn't too far off, and now I can't see anything. So anywho, all right. Number 1, how do you improve your content? You make it personal. This is really interesting, and I think an interesting topic to talk about because of the rise of AI. Now, I'm going to talk about AI, and don't come at me, don't hate me. I have a whole story around it. But with the use of AI content and the ease of creating, 30 social media posts or a whole blog post using AI or however people are using it, the personal aspects of content creation has started to diminish. And you can tell the difference between people who are personalizing their content and people who aren't personalizing their content. Now, there are 2 aspects to personalizing your content. Number 1 is putting personality into your content, which is storytelling. If you know me, you know this is my sweet spot. I love talking about storytelling. It, in my opinion, can drastically improve your content and your conversions. Like overnight. It's absolutely incredible when you start to strategically tell stories online. So this is putting your personality into the brand. It's sharing more personal stories, conversations that you've had with clients, anecdotes, things you've thought about while walking through the grocery store, and making it personal. We saw at the beginning of 2024 just article after article after article saying that people were craving authenticity, that more than ever, authenticity was in demand from brands and businesses. I think this was the first time that it was just like mainstream everywhere. Forbes was talking about it. It was on the rise. Well, how do you do that? You do that with storytelling. It's actually quite simple. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. You don't have to share every single story that you've ever experienced in your entire life. But by putting in this personal aspect, by having this personality in your content, it builds that know, like, and trust factor so freaking quick. So I always tell my clients, if you're ever feeling stuck with content creation, challenge yourself to list out some stories that you could tell, things that happen from your experience, things that have happened from your client's perspective, whatever that might be. It's such a fantastic way to build that know, like, and trust factor really quickly. And it makes people feel as if you're talking directly to them, which leads me to the second point when it comes to personalizing your content, and that's personalizing it for your ideal customer. Too many people are missing the mark on this. You really need to be writing specifically to your ideal customer. Think about the ads that you respond to. Think about the videos that you respond to. Think about the emails that really hit a note for you, or the blog post where the person is speaking directly to you, or it feels as if they are speaking directly to you. And I don't mean, adding the subscriber's name in an email. I mean using very specific language of how they're thinking, what's going on in their lives, what is important to them, what they value, what they're struggling with. All of these elements come down to the brand foundation of ideal customer work. And I know we hate it. I know we do, because it's annoying and it's tedious and it feels like we always have to do that. But to completely elevate your content, you need to have clarity on exactly who you're speaking to, because it is the difference between content that sounds like everyone else and content that really stands out and resonates with your ideal customer. So really calling your audience out in your content can be incredibly valuable. Saying things like, I know right now you're struggling to create content for your business because you have a laundry list, literal laundry, of things that you need to do at home. Your kids are demanding you because you're in the middle of summer and you're trying to juggle the demands of being an entrepreneur and a mother. That's way different than just being like, hey, do you struggle with content creation? Because your ideal customer, and in this specific example, I'm using a mother, an entrepreneur, mompreneur, if you want to use that word. I don't love it. And I'm specifically calling them out. I am speaking directly to them. Doing this quickly in the copy is so incredibly powerful, whether you're writing copy or verbally saying it on a reel or a video or a podcast. But whether you decide to use AI tools to write your content or not, which is not something that I highly recommend, you've got to add this personal aspect. And here's where you get the leg up, because so many people are using templates to write their copy. They are mirroring what other people are doing on the internet, right? Copy and paste and changing a few things. They're using AI that this personality is lacking. And if you can dial it up on the personality, I promise you those conversions will happen. I will give you an example of this, because I think this goes beyond content creation. Obviously, this goes just with messaging and copywriting in general. But just within the last 24 hours, I have gotten 2 inquiries on my website from people who have come from Google, who are interested in a one-on-one session with me. They have clearly outlined and said, I'm ready to pay in full. They have a few questions, understandable. I'm going to answer those. Okay. But those 2 and the ones that I've received previously have time and time again said, I really love that your website feels like it's speaking directly to me. I really love how you are sharing your story. Or I love this aspect of your story. Like, they're going out of their way to pinpoint these personal aspects. So while adding in this personal piece might not allow you to go viral, right? Because it's not applying to everyone. It's going to increase your conversions. It's going to increase your engagement. That's what you want. That is what we want. So if you're not already tying in this authenticity, personalizing your content, whether it's your personal story, again, featuring the story of a client, but also just calling out your audience, it's an incredibly valuable piece. And it's something you can easily just change for your content for the next week and see what happens. All right. And this also kind of piggybacks off something we're going to be talking about next week, which is like the type of content that you should be creating online. There's like a pie chart, nerdy, that I've created that kind of shows how you should, choose educational content versus authority content versus inspirational content versus brand building content. And I talk a little bit more about that, but no matter which type of content you're creating, this personalization can absolutely be there. I don't care if you're showing some how-to tips on how to do something, you can directly speak to your ideal customer. I know you can. So again, with this one, make it personal, your personal story, a client's personal story, or calling your audience out. And the foundation of this really comes down to knowing who you're speaking to and who you want to attract. We're going to talk a little bit more about reverse engineering, but this is a great example of reverse engineering for what you want your audience to do and then creating the content for your ideal customer specifically. Okay, number 2, and of course, with all my live streams, that's what this is, right? A live video with all of his live videos. Let me know if you have any questions. You can also DM me directly on Instagram after or during the video, and I'm happy to chat with you as well. I know sometimes it's weird to comment on a live stream on your public profile, so I always invite you to do that. All right, number 2 is AI related, and again, don't get mad at me, but we're gonna talk about AI and how you can actually use it to improve your content. I had a client, this is the best example that I can think of. I had a client today. We were on her strategy call today. And she said, she read something online that said, oh, AI is amazing. It's taking all of these creative things from us, but it's not doing the things that we actually want, like doing my dishes and doing my laundry and all of these different things. And I started to think, and I was like, that's exactly what I am using AI for from a business perspective. So think about, when it comes to content creation, those we'll call them mundane tasks, right? The chores that you have to do as a business owner, distributing the content, repurposing the content, those different things, elevating the content. These are things that we're constantly doing, analytics, all of these different things that feel like the laundry or the cleaning of the house on the personal side of things. This is where AI can freaking shine. And I work with entrepreneurs inside of my academy who come to our strategy calls and are always like, all right, I'm doing this. How can I make it more efficient? I'm doing this. How can I improve that? And I swear that there is a tool out there to help you with pretty much anything content related. Too many entrepreneurs are just spending too much time distributing their content. Now, I understand that the process of creating your content, choosing your topics, your research, although AI can help with that too, like those types of things take time, and you'll get better at it the more that you do it. This is where consistency comes into play. But if you're not using these valuable tools, some of which are free or very low price, they can save you so much time and energy and improve your distribution overall. So this is something that I talk about a lot that we'll be covering next week in the challenge, is the distribution of content. You got to take a multi-channel approach. We cannot just be relying on one platform to grow our businesses anymore. You can have one platform at the core where you're putting most of your energy, most of your fire, right? And then use repurposing to put it out onto multiple platforms. But you have to have that multi-channel approach because of the way that consumers consume content today. It's just absolutely necessary. And lucky for us, we've got amazing tools that make it easier than ever to do it. I've been repurposing my content since 2017. It takes me way less time to repurpose now than it did back then. And so I want you to start thinking about those things when it comes to your content strategy that are bogging down your time, that's taking you a long time, and try and find a tool that can ultimately help you do that. Now, I'm going to be sharing my full software stack next week in the challenge on how I use this to repurpose my content, but I'll give you 2 of my favorites in case you want to get started on these right now. So one of them is called Descript. You've probably heard me talk about it before if you've been here, or hopefully you've heard someone else talk about it before. But Descript is an amazing multi-layered tool. Like I made a YouTube video and I edited the whole thing inside of Descript not that long ago. And I'm not an editor. Let me just put that out there. I'm horrible at it. But this made it so easy. But I love using Descript to take transcripts, turning them into blog posts, taking transcripts, turning them into social media posts, all kinds of different things. You can also take long form videos and make them into short form videos as well. For me, another tool that I love, if you're really into video marketing, short form video, Opus Clip Pro. You can easily take a video. I'm going to take this video right here when I'm done, plug it into Opus Clip, and it's going to give me a bunch of short form video clips from my video, all AI generated. I can go in, I can edit them, I can personalize them, make, AI is not always right. So we can make some changes, but the amount of time that it saves me to not have to go watch that video again and pull out the valuable clips is absolutely insane. And now it's giving me a backlog of content that I can distribute to other platforms to make sure that my brand is getting seen. I think for me, it's about looking at how AI can help you optimize, repurpose, improve, and distribute. All right. Optimize, repurpose, improve, and distribute, because those are kind of the key areas when it comes to content that we can really be using these amazing tools. Again, I'm going to be talking about this more in depth next week in the content challenge. So if you haven't signed up, just comment challenge and I'll get you the information to sign up for free. But when it comes to video content, this is such a hot topic because we know short form video is one of the most in-demand forms of content today. And if you're like me, you have a love-hate relationship with it. I love watching it to some extent. I definitely have to have my boundaries in place. Sometimes I love creating it, but most of the time I actually don't love creating it. Like I gotta be in a groove to create a bunch of reels, which is why I specifically do them for a whole month in like a chunk of time. But having this tool, an AI tool to clip these videos for me so that I always have something to share, something to post is so powerful. And if you're not using social media for your marketing, that's okay. I don't use social media as a brand awareness tool. I use social media as my mid-tier in my content stack, something else we'll talk about next week. And so I'm still using these short form videos on Pinterest. I'm using them on YouTube Shorts. There are a lot of different ways that you can use these short form videos that is outside of just Instagram. So if you're not using social media as your main marketing platform, don't outrule the power of short form video and the different platforms that you can use it on for search engine specific content. All right. But having these AI tools, it's not just about improving your content in terms of like, what am I going to write? Like, hey, ChatGPT, help me write blah, 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 blah. I'm kind of like anti that actually. It removes the personality, which we just talked about in the beginning. But these tools can do the dishes. They can do the laundry. They can do the vacuuming of your business. Those mundane tasks that you have to do that's going to help you run a successful business. This is where they come into play. If you ever have questions on the types of tools that I'm using, I have a bunch of videos on YouTube, but you can also always DM me and I'm happy to share what I'm using behind the scenes as well. All right. And again, I'm going to repeat. Optimize, repurpose, improve, or distribute. Think of how you can use tools to improve these 4 areas of your content creation. All right. Number 3. This is going to be our last one. Improve the next step. So when I'm auditing content for my clients, which I do quite regularly, email content, blog content, webinars, different things like that, social media content, one thing that is always stands out to me is that the CTA is not clear. And when we think about people, let's use social media as an example. When we think about people who are killing it on social media, right? You can tell social media is their big kahuna. This is their brand awareness. This is how they are getting all their leads and everything in their business power to them. You can tell that in every single post, they are asking their audience to do something. Every single one. Comment, heart, share, whatever. Most of the time it's comment, right? Get this freebie, click through for, or comment for this, comment for an application, comment for this video, whatever it is, right? That's a very social media thing to do. But same with email. If we're looking at your email content and it is not clear as day what you want someone to do, guess what? They're not going to do it. And the easiest way to fix this, because I know it can be really tricky, especially if you're like sharing a story and you're like, okay, well, how do I how do I now ask someone to do something? I just like shared a personal story. It was obviously inspirational content, maybe a little bit of educational content. Now I'm going to ask them to apply for like my one-on-one. The easiest thing to do is reverse engineer. Think about what you want someone to do before you even start writing your content. Maybe sometimes before you even start choosing the topic. This is something that I teach inside of the academy and my blueprint, where we talk about how to generate 90 days of content ideas. And the whole thing starts with, well, what do you want people to do during those 90 days? Every 30 days, choose something that you're going to promote if you have different offers, or focus on something for the full 90 days. And what is it that you're ultimately wanting them to do? Be so crystal clear on that you can then create the content and flow to the CTA effortlessly. Because if you don't give them the next step, they're not going to be able to take it. And so many times when I am, again, auditing content, they're like, oh, but no one clicked through. And I say, I read this and I didn't even see where you asked them to click through. Or I'm sharing a blog post, right? I didn't see the blog post title. I didn't see clear as day why I should click through and read the blog. And so that's the second layer to that a lot of people miss out on. One, it can be just as simple as saying, do this thing, right? Here it is. Is this valuable to you? Here's the next step. But also, why should they? Why? Why should I take time out of my schedule to read your blog? Why should you take time out of your busy day to watch a live stream? Why should you take time out of your, busy day to click through to a sales page? Why? And the more that we can reverse engineer and the more that we can ask ourselves, why should someone do this? The more specific we'll be in the ask. Because it can't be as simple as like, click through and read it. Why do they need to click through and read it? What are they going to get from that? How long is it going to take them? Think about ways of really meeting your ideal customer where they are. This is really kind of the key thing when it comes to improving your content quickly. Truly, truly is. All right. So when it comes to reverse engineering, I think that's one of my favorite, as I kind of mentioned, it's one of my favorite ways to elevate content and to make sure that everything always points back to the ask, always points back to the offer. And now if you're watching this and because this happens sometimes, you get a little like, oh, but I don't want to promote all the time. Hey, welcome to being a business owner. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do it in an in-your-face way all the time. Everything doesn't have to be buy from me. But even go read my blog, go watch this video, go grab this freebie. It's all an ask. All of it is a CTA, all of it is an ask. So while you don't constantly have to be pushing your products, although you shouldn't be afraid to do that, because at the end of the day, that's why you're in business, to help people with the things that you provide, whether it's a product or a service. I don't care. We got to get better at that. You still need to give the next step. What do you want people to do? Spell it out for them. Be specific. And guess what? They'll start to do it. You'll watch your click-through rates improve. You'll watch your views on your videos improve. You'll watch engagement improve overall, no matter what platform you're choosing. It doesn't matter. Does anyone have any questions for me on these 3 super simple ways to improve your content? Anything that maybe stood out to you? Or again, any questions that you have. I see over on YouTube, Patricia said challenge. Yay, Patricia. So here's the link. Just go to brandmary.com/challenge and you can go ahead and get signed up. Again, it's completely free. I know, I'm still doing free challenges, still from 2016. I love them. So we're just going to keep doing them over and over again. But they really are. I love giving to my audience, and it's 4 days. I will be live for 4 days at 12:30 Central Time. You'll have access to the replays for the full week if you sign up. You have to sign up though. I don't just like email everyone or just like publicly broadcast it. I want you to take that first step. So when you sign up for the challenge, you will get access to the live videos, Q&A. I'm making a workbook for us. It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be so much fun. And then you'll have the replays for a full week, because I know some of you are dealing with back to school, end of summer. I get it. There's no perfect time to schedule a challenge. So I want to make it really accessible for you, so you will have access to the replays when you sign up. Again, if you are on Instagram, you can just type challenge and it'll go ahead and send you the details. And then again, you can just go to brandmary.com/challenge as well. So we start Monday, August 19th. Of course, if you have any questions, just let me know in my inbox. I invite you to also connect with me over on Instagram as well. If you have any questions about the AI tools that I'm using, anything else about storytelling, what else did we talk about today? I talked about content stacking, which is something I'm going to be talking about in the challenge. But if you have any follow-up questions, just go ahead and send me a message. I'm here to support you. All right. I'm going to look real quick on Instagram. I don't see any. Okay, perfect. All right, great. And yeah, that's it. I was like looking at the time too. I was like 24 minutes. That's pretty good. Try to keep these under 30 minutes so we can all get on with our lives. Again, head to bromary.com/challenge to get signed up for the challenge. The Content Game Changer Challenge kicks off on Monday, 4 days of live videos. If you have any questions about today's training live video, go ahead and message me over on Instagram and I will be happy to answer your questions. All right. I hope to see you in the challenge next week. Have an amazing day. Bye, y'all.